Welcome to our Living Stones podcast, where we gather to discuss all matters of faith and life as members of God's household. In a world that often leaves us feeling fragmented and disconnected, our hope is that Living Stones will help to further connect us as we pursue the Lord together. I'm your host, Davina, and today I have some of our 735 family with us. 735 being our singles ministry named after 1 Corinthians 7:35 about living with undivided devotion to the Lord. I have Justin and Joanna, two of our 735 leaders, and Han, a former leader. And we're going to have a real and honest conversation today about what it actually looks like to live faithfully in this season. The beautiful parts, the hard parts, and what it looks like to keep Christ at the center of it all. This is also an area that is close to me as I got married a little later in life as well. And I know how important this season is and also how full and fun it is. So thanks, guys, for joining me.
Hello.
Good to be here.
Excited to be here.
We actually did another episode, but I deleted it. I'm sorry.
Boo.
I think I was on one of the first original podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
It was the earlier episodes.
Yeah.
It took me 3 years to come back.
Thanks for coming back. Han, you're a very eloquent person. Honestly.
Looks wise or?
Sure.
No,
I'm
just kidding.
Sure. All of it.
You said no.
And how you speak and how you form your thoughts.
Thank you.
I think it's one of the gifts that you have.
Thank you. I received that.
Nice. All right. So I would like to start with getting to know you because, this is our second recording, but first for everyone to actually watch. I know you were in one of our episodes prior. I think our Nova episode.
Life in Nova.
Yeah, Life in Nova. So I would love for you guys to go around and share a bit of your background. How about where you were born, how long you've been in Nova, when you came to our church, and what made you decide to come to our church or commit to our church? We'll start with Han.
Yeah, so my name is Han Yi. Pretty much born and raised in Nova. I guess technically I was born in Maryland, but I consider myself a lifelong Novan.
Nova Indian.
I did have a stint where I lived in Illinois for about 10 years. I went there for college. And then I did some youth ministry there as well, part of I guess my background. And then I've just been back in Nova since 2018, 2019-ish. I came to KPCW about 3-4 years ago ish, right?
That's crazy. I feel like it's been more than
because me and Justin, we came around the same time.
I think it was 2020, spring of 2022. No.
Oh, wow.
Ish.
Yeah. So just over 3 years maybe.
Or we're going into our fourth
Yeah,
year?
going into
Yeah. So this spring, in April, we'll be going
crazy.
to our fourth year.
Yeah. I think so.
It's kind of a funny story of why I decided to be at KPCW, but I think one of the first sermon series that so Pastor Paul was going through a gender sermon series at the time.
Oh,
Wonderful.
I
Yeah.
remember.
That'll get you.
But no, it got me. I
Crazy.
I really appreciated it because I was oh, this guy is not afraid to stand on the truth. He's not apologetic about it or unapologetic about it. And I just appreciate that it felt like Pastor Paul was someone that I could trust. And I just felt like he's someone that I could respect and follow as a leader. As someone coming from a ministry background, I guess I just felt that there was something about Pastor Paul where I could trust the person that he was in his private life. And then that projecting from the pulpit of, especially with the gender series, just his commitment to truth was very refreshing for me. And so that's kind of why I stuck around at KPCW.
Nice. I hear that a lot, which I'm always still surprised about.
What, the gender series?
Gender series, even, I don't know, talking about BLM and whatever other social issue. I'm always surprised when I hear, oh yeah, this is actually what was the door to me deciding to commit to this church. So amazing.
I feel like those are the ones that keeps the people there, but it also weeds people out, the people that aren't about that.
Yeah.
But I'm the same with Han. I think that was pretty big for me saying too.
Nice.
But anyways, are you done? Sorry. I can
Wait,
introduce
that was it,
myself.
right?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Justin. Justin Park. Anyways, I was born in Guam, and then I moved to Virginia, Nova, when I was in like 3rd grade. Yeah, and I've been here ever since. I went to a Virginia school, Virginia Tech, and yeah, I'm a Novan too, basically.
Nice.
And yeah, I came to KPCW same time as Han, so about going to our 4th year now. And another funny part about how Han and I ended up coming to KPCW is that we had a really close friend of ours who attended KPCW, so we were like, oh, like let's go check out this church with him. Yeah, he left like the weekend we came. Like
We won't name names,
He,
but
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
the one
fine.
that got weeded out.
yeah, with the same series.
might be too real.
But yeah, and then been here ever since. Been loving it. Been loving the community and loving the pastors and everything. So
Nice.
yeah.
I'm Joanna Kim. I was also born in Maryland,
Oh, where?
in Montgomery County,
Do you know the city?
Tacoma Park.
Yo, me too.
Shut up. The
Tacoma
same
Park.
hospital?
Probably only one hospital in Tacoma Park.
Probably.
I think
Wow.
there was like thousands of other people.
And we were born the
there,
same year
Oh,
too.
1990?
Yeah.
Oh. Yo.
What?
Yeah.
It's like a new level of friendship.
Sure.
Oh, world.
But yeah, I was born in Maryland too. But I moved to Virginia pretty quickly. I think within the first 3 years of my life. So yeah, I've also been in Northern Virginia forever. And then I went to BCU down in Richmond. So I was there for about 4 or 5 years. And then came back, and I think coming back to Northern Virginia was difficult. That was a bit of a struggle for me. Went through a lot of different changes, I should say.
I was going to say transitions.
Oh, yeah.
But what kind of transitions?
Not the bodily kind.
It's life transition.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. But I ended up church hopping for a couple years in the Nova area. And I actually ended up in a Maryland church too at one point with Charlie over in Columbia, but didn't really last there very long, kind of far. But my last stop was here at Cornerstone, and it just made sense a little bit because a lot of the friends that I built deep relationships with were all here, and it was just easier to get assimilated to. So I naturally just gravitated towards here. But I had a weird relationship with church up until coming to Cornerstone. And so I think Cornerstone was where I really, God really reconciled me back with the church. And so it is special for me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Joanna and I are really good friends, by the way. So that's sad that I didn't know that.
No, you do know it. You do
Okay.
know
I
it.
just forgot maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
You do know. Just telling her what she remembers.
Yeah, she
or what
knows.
she knows.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really glad that you guys are here. The 4 of us did serve together for a year in this ministry. And for me personally, it was a very strategic move to pick all of you because all of you come with different strengths and different kind of approaches and how you even like walk out your social life. So I'm excited to have this conversation. So I wanted to get into 735 and how or what that means to us. So when we were discussing a new name, because come on, I hate singles ministry. That name is just, okay, I'm getting really strong, but it's just like it's not only boring, but like what do we, even our home builders has a name and we don't call it marriage, family with children, or, you know, separated or whatever. Like, I just felt like it was a bad name. And so Pastor Paul was the one that came up with 735, derived from 1 Corinthians 7:35, as I mentioned. And Paul speaks specifically about being undivided towards the Lord. So when you first heard the name and the phrase undivided devotion, what did that mean to you? And it could be uniquely to you.
Would it make sense to actually read the verse for
Sure, let's
context?
do it.
So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 35.
Mhm.
And I think it's in the context of like speaking to, let's see here. Well, the title of the chapter is Principles for Marriage. But then there's this verse that the ministry is centered on, verse 35. It says, I think after Paul speaking to like the married people, he says, I say this for your own benefit, not to lay any restraint upon you, but to promote good order and secure your undivided devotion to the Lord. And so I think what he was saying before this is like the married man, he's filled with like a lot of obligations. He's anxious over a lot of worldly things because of the nature of just having to be a husband, having to be a father, and having to like lead and manage the family. But in juxtaposition to that, he's saying to the people that aren't married, this is like a different kind of not like freedom, but there's like a different like I guess season of life that you're in where you can have undivided devotion to the Lord. And so I think that's kind of where the name 735 comes from, based on that idea of like in this season of singlehood or singleness, whatever label you want to use, there is that unique opportunity to give a little bit more of your resources, time, attention, as it says here in this verse, devotion to the Lord.
I love that. So that's how you feel when you look at this verse and kind of even apply it to the season of your life.
Also, I do want to say though, I think I like secretly gave Pastor Paul the idea of like 735 because before that I said, hey, remember like Passion? They had like that 268 generation thing.
That's
You
right.
did
I
say
did say that.
that.
I did say that.
And then
remember
you
that.
inspired Pastor Paul.
Yeah. So I mean, not saying that I need credit or anything for it, but
Well, you just got it.
I'm just saying as just to keep the history like factual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember. I was there. You're
See,
right.
you remember that though.
Yeah.
But not about Joanna's life.
No, it's just not connecting.
Ah,
She knows
okay.
about these different areas of my life. It's just not connecting.
But we should talk about what 735 means to us. That's the
yeah.
question. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Back on topic.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Similar sentiment?
For me, when we first brought up the verse, it was kind of a wake up call because I think just throughout my season of singleness, I always kind of like knew it internally and in my head that that's what it should look like. But to have like a specific biblical context tied to it was kind of like, oh, like I need to wake up. Like I need to really stop wasting my time in this season and like get my act together basically. But like I said, like I kind of knew it internally, but that just like was a bigger like, I don't know, like a moment of epiphany for me for the season.
Yeah, like this is a charge and a calling instead
Like
of
specifically
just
like
living.
in the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it's a little bit similar to what Justin was saying. Like I think the idea of undivided devotion is a little bit daunting. It can be a little daunting at first, and because realistically, I'm very divided
Yeah.
in my devotion
sure.
and my
Oh,
yeah.
attention and all those things. But I think the encouraging part of this verse is Apostle Paul prefaces it by saying, right, I say this for your own good. And it's not to restrict you. It's so that you can live rightly. And I think that is a bigger hit, that encouragement. So yeah, it kind of enables you to desire the undivided devotion
Yeah.
towards the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you highlighted that like preface where he says this is like for your benefit. Like it's not something that should be like burdensome, but it's
Right.
like a positive biblical way to look at your season of life, or whatever you want to call this, right?
Right.
Like your role or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of makes it more about, our pursuit of holiness and not so much how perfect we can be. So I think it helps.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Especially because hopefully, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that we'll have listeners that are members of our church, whether they're married or not married. I'm hoping that these perspectives and thoughts on this season of life will also empower everyone, especially in this season, because it is easy to just, even as a married person, it's easy to kind of forget that I'm married and be like, oh, this is what I want to do today, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, and you just kind of keep living your lives. But to take a moment and pause and remember that, oh, actually, you are charged to live a life undivided, and that you have the ability to do that, and what a gift to do that.
Right.
I think we talked about this before, like on our own, but the moment you guys get married, you'll never have this ever again. I mean, unless everyone dies.
What?
But even if terrible things were to happen, you will always live with the lens of being a spouse or a parent from that moment forward. So it is very special.
For sure.
Yeah, I do want to be in the moment of this season.
Yeah.
I think so often you can get bored with your routine, or you can want to look forward to what's next, obviously, which is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But I mean, just aside from enjoying the fact that there's a lot of advantages to this life stage, just overall just wanting to be present in whatever stage of life you are at any given moment, and being faithful to that. I think that's something that I just try to think about in general, of how can I be more present? Because a lot of times I feel like I live life looking backwards.
Yeah.
And it's oh, I've come to this point. It's oh my gosh, I wish I could just go back and relive those years again. And then 5 years later, it's the same pattern over and over again. You get to the next stage and oh, if I could just go back.
Yeah.
And so just trying to be present here now. I mean, because you were joking about, but I mean, no one knows. We could all die tomorrow.
It's true.
And it's if this is all my life kind of came to, then it's did I do my best in every stage or every aspect, and enjoy, obviously, glorify God to the best of my ability. So just that idea of being content and present in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this particular season is even more special than any other season, I would say. And especially because I mean, in the verse, even Paul mentions I wish all of you were like me, in this stage, because this him saying that points to the fact that how special this season is, right? So especially us right now, as we're in the season, it's even more important to really take advantage of it, and just try to make the most of it in all aspects of devoting ourselves, also just to God, to church, but also in the relationships we have, friendships, into ourselves, everything. I think this is a season that we'll kind of you said, we'll look back and we'll miss it, because nothing will be like this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can attest to that, you guys. I mean, I don't really miss much besides my grandparents, but but when I look back on my single years, it is one of the most I feel full because I lived it so fully. And that's such a wonderful feeling to have going into marriage. Because there are plenty of married people, and this is general, there are plenty of married people that also lived a very full single life, but many that were I didn't know who I was when I was getting married, or I didn't I was so focused on trying to get married that I wasted 5 years of really being present in that season of life. And so I like where your head is at, but I also believe that it comes with a lot of wisdom. So this, even Han, when you were sharing how you really want to be present in this moment and serve well, or glorify God, was this would you say that this is something more prevalent in your like convictions than like, let's see, even like 7 years ago?
I would say so. I think so. There's definitely like a period of time when I was in the thick of being single. I mean, one could argue that is right now, but I would say maybe that was a little bit. I would say like when I was getting into like my 30s, and at that point, a lot of my friends, a lot of my close friends, they're already a couple steps ahead of me. Those steps being like either married and starting to have kids. And at that point, I think I did feel a certain amount of like pressure, whether it's like social pressure, self pressure, of I need to move on to the next stage. And so I think at that point, that was probably a phase in my life where I did not appreciate singleness as much. If anything, I probably not like disdained it in any way, but was eager to like get out of it as soon as possible. But maybe that's just more because like I just want to date. I don't know.
I mean, also, I'm sure you have a natural desire to be married one day.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think wanting to get married is
Mhm.
also makes sense. If not, then you're called to be a celibate.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, if you don't have those
No,
desires. So,
I pray
Sure.
pray against that in Jesus' name. But
me too.
Lord have
So-
mercy on me.
Lord Jesus.
But I think I actually have grown more content after I got out of that phase. I think I've learned to just really appreciate this season of life and even like enjoy it. And as the years go on of me like being in this stage, I think I enjoy it. Oh wait, I'll just like loosely say like enjoy it more as the years go on. But I'm sure if I'm like 39, I will start to not enjoy it again. But again, Lord have mercy on me. But there's something that like really stuck with me from a mentor pastor. So when I was serving at my Korean American church back in Chicago as a youth pastor, the senior pastor at that time, he was saying this more from like the perspective of like physical health and youth and fervor. But he was like, when you're young, do as much as you can for God. Because at that point in time, he was like nearing his 60s, and he was like, as you get older, like your bodily functions start to fade. You're not as like physically sharp anymore. You don't have the same level of energy. And he was just like, I wish I could go back to my 20s and do even more. And that's kind of always stuck with me. And so in that like vein of thought, if I apply that mindset to this like life stage of singleness and singlehood, it's like, I don't want to like regret not having done as much as I could specifically for the kingdom while I was single,
Yeah.
which I'm not right now. So I need more sanctification.
Kind of looking back on where you were when you were younger versus now, I guess like a more open-ended or like general question would be, what are some things that you feel like you know and understand about yourself and the world now versus when you were like, I don't know, 21, 22?
I mean, 22, that's like,
I
I was a
know.
baby.
I don't even remember.
I don't imagine, I can't think
Yeah.
about myself doing anything at 22. Like, I was like so immature, doing stupid things. I didn't know anything about myself. But I mean, I would say even now, I still, struggle with certain aspects of that. But yeah, 22, like, it was like, I didn't even think about being single. It was just a given, right? Because I was so young. And
Yeah.
I didn't even think about marriage or like relationships. It was just have fun and just live life to the fullest. But it's kind of strange because as the years go on, like you lose that part of it. But I would say that part of it is still like important in a certain way where like you still should enjoy like being single. Not like in the world or anything, but like just the time you have. But I think as the years go on, I kind of start to like go into this like rabbit hole of like, I need to get out of this season. But I think it's healthy. It's like, it's in a healthy way because, I mean, unless I'm called to be celibate, like, which I really hope not, and the Lord have mercy. But like, because I'm called to marriage, because I'm called to marriage, right? Like I think I need to be intentional about getting out of this season, right? Because that's what God has in store for us. So like for me, especially my personality type, where I'm like very like complacent, I get like comfortable easily. So like I could see myself, or I have seen myself in this season get very comfortable in this season.
Mhm.
So I need to like kind of push myself to be able to like take advantage of this season while still being intentional about, you know, my next season in life.
So you never put any type of pressure on yourself or never felt pressured like earlier?
No, never. Even now, I
Wow.
would say it's like I don't feel pressure. I just want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know that you want to be married.
Yeah.
And so if that's going to be in your life, it needs to be sooner now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Rather like compared to like in like your mid 20s.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about
Oh
that
yeah,
too
yeah.
much
Back
now.
then, yeah. When I was mid 20s, even to like, you know, like upper 20s, like I would say I didn't even think about it. Like it was just I kind of thought of it as like, oh, it'll happen when it happens.
Mhm.
But at a certain point, if you think you're called to marriage, I don't think that's a healthy way of thinking. Like if you're called to marriage, at a certain point, you have to start taking steps to get to that next life stage, right? But yeah, so I think now I'm like I have a balance of both of those aspects, and just trying to figure out like, you know, it's the way to live in this season as much as I can, but also get ready to be in the next season.
No, I appreciate that a lot too because time goes by so fast. It's so easy to stay in a certain mode and mentality, and even into your 30s and 40s, just kind of stay this almost stagnant, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it does take a level of conviction, and I also believe humility to be like, oh, okay, like I cannot stay stuck in like whatever it is. So that's good.
I can see why people get comfortable though, for sure.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super easy.
After you've been in this like single lifestyle for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm a veteran.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm with you. I'm an all-star, but
You'll get there one day.
yeah. But yeah, it like it's kind of sad to say. This is kind of like off topic. It's kind of sad to say, but like, as much as I do want to move on to the next season,
Mhm.
that what the steps that are required to get there feel very like
Mm.
kichane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Expound.
Oh, you said a big yeah to that.
Yeah,
No.
you went. Mm-hmm.
Totally. I'm coming from a different place where all of my 20s I spent telling people I was celibate.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I didn't have a desire for marriage, and I didn't want that for my
Oh, like
life.
you actually didn't.
Yeah,
Oh.
so kind of goes back to what I was saying about being reconciled with the church. I had kind of a traumatic experience with my first relationship, my freshman kind of year of college. And that really kind of severed my relationship with men and the church as a whole. And so all of my 20s, I've really just, everybody was just a friend. Like nobody could, I was a fortified city.
Fortified state.
No one can climb the fortress wall.
Nobody could climb the
No one
fortress
can
wall.
break through it.
Okay.
It-
Knock
yeah.
my walls down.
Potentially one, but
Anybody that tried was just cut off. Like I
Maybe.
didn't even deal with it.
just like
So I can't say that I struggled with the same thing. But I do think as I got older with age and I started opening up to the idea of dating and I started opening up to the possibility of being in a relationship, I was kind of stuck because I was open. I was saying that with my mouth, but my lifestyle was just so set in stone that like, oh, so kichana, so much effort to change those things, the different comforts that I kind of built my life
what is
around.
kichana?
Inconvenient.
Hassle.
Hassle.
Yeah, kind of
hassle.
a hassle. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, kind of an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Because I have a certain lifestyle. I have a certain rhythm. I have ways that I can enter and leave the room at any point in time. I don't have to report to anyone. Yeah, that was just one of those things that were just, it was not worth my effort. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the longer you're in the season,
Right.
the harder it gets almost
Yeah.
to get out of it.
Yeah, right.
Like the motivation might be there, but like the actual ways of getting out of it is just harder because everyone's just so much more set in their ways. Just like the routine we have, like not having to deal with like conflict basically. Like if you have a conflict with a friend, you can kind of like come and go as you please almost.
Right.
But if it's a relationship, like you have to either work it out or it's
Right.
or you end it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's why like old ajumas, they'll say you need to get married young or it's going to be harder for you to get married later. And it's really because besides the comfort and the confidence that you guys have built, besides that, you also get a real good look at marriage through your friends.
Right.
Well, before it was either so new to you or we didn't know anyone married personally. And so like you see what the cost is, conflict and whatever else that comes with it. And so if anything, with time, it almost becomes a, not a deterrent, but like something not as coveted as it was like when I was like 22, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, I think at the end of the day, the pros will outweigh the cons. And obviously, like, none of us have been married. So, like, we can't, like, truly speak to it. But, yeah, to your point, like, if I look at my friends that are married, like, there's just, it's just a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, pros and cons, whatever you want to call it. But you just have obligations at that point.
Yeah.
Like good obligations, right? I want to preface by saying that, but you're just not as I can't like for me on a regular weekday, if I wanted to like go watch like basketball with some friends, obviously mostly like these guys also being like single friends, I can just be like, hey, like day of, are you guys free? All right, 7 p.m. let's meet like here and we're gonna watch the game together. But like for sure, none of my married friends will like ever be able to come out like on the day of and just be like, oh yeah, I can go. Like it's like, oh no, I gotta like put the kids to sleep, and then like I gotta talk to my wife, and then there's just so many different things that they have to account for. But for me, it's a very simple like one phone call. Okay, I'm there, and even just stuff like that, not being able to do that is like would be a big adjustment. And also just like if you get beyond like the logistical things, like everyone no one is unaware of the fact that like marriage is one of the hardest relationships that you'll ever have, like that you'll ever be in, right? And that's just like kichane too. It's like
Everyone will learn the word kichane.
like,
Kichana.
Inconvenience.
Yeah.
it's just like you have to work at it. Like you can't quit. I mean technically some people do, but like
Yeah, some people do.
and then there's just so many like realities of life that you just come to grips with, right? It's like, oh, it's not always like pretty like roses, all that kind of stuff. Like if you marry someone, you go through like the honeymoon stage, like when you're dating, and then like 10 years into the marriage, you're like, dude, I'm married to like a witch, like it's like,
Yeah.
We're going there.
it's like what, like
We're going
Could
there.
happen.
I gotta work this out, like I made a covenant, like
Yeah. I think like the longer you're single, the more reality can hit, right? Because you see that from like whether it be your friends or just people around you that are married, and you see the difficulties. And it's like kind of what you were saying earlier, like it could be a deterrent. It could be kind of scary, like that reality check of how hard marriage is and could be. Whereas I think in the other sense, where if you get married younger, you're kind of more like idealistic and you have these like maybe unrealistic expectations of marriage. And I don't think like either is like a bad or a good. It's just different ways to look at it, and different things can happen. Because I mean, like there are good marriages, and I have friends that have really good marriages that give me hope. But it's like it goes both ways. Yeah, you know. Something's got to balance out the bads, you know. I need people to give me hope too.
I would say I know a lot more good marriages than bad. I don't know too many bad marriages, so just want to get that out.
But like
great.
just
That's
difficult
great.
though,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
difficulties you have in just general with like a marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you guys say that like the longer that you're single, the more, I guess it can be a good and bad thing, the more you have an idea of what you're looking for.
I think it's more for me personally. But I don't know, this is kind of like a good and bad too, because at least for me personally, what I feel like ended up happening is I start to realize what things are important to me and what I'm looking for.
Mhm.
But then it becomes harder to choose that person because you now have specific things you're looking for. Whereas when you're younger, you're a little bit more open. And it might be because of naiveness, like you just don't know what you want. But you know, sometimes those relationships are very good too. Like could could end up being really good, just like growing together and getting to know each other and like being able to figure things out together. I think so. Like for me, like this stage, like I'm more on the ladder where, or the prior where like I am set in my ways and I have a set kind of like thing I'm looking for, so it becomes harder to like really
Even more
commit, I
narrow.
guess, yeah, and to decide what are things I'm willing to like forego or let go, and like what are things I don't want to compromise with.
There is a saying like that people in their 20s, like let's say you have 10 things, like a list of 10 things that you're looking for in a person. If you're in your 20s, it's like one or two of those things you're like, oh yeah, I'll give it a try. But in your 30s, if it's like one, two thing, like even if it's one thing that's not on the list, you're like, oh yeah, forget it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very like dangerous like way you can fall with like
Right.
being older and
Right.
being single.
Yeah.
This is not going how I wanted it to go.
Wait, why?
What, this podcast?
Steer us.
No,
Steer us.
It's I am again so appreciative of like the honesty and like what you guys are saying. But I feel like then these singles in their 20s should get married pretty quickly.
No.
So y'all
it's
don't get
kinda-
ruined like them.
Oh, who are you looking at?
Chanel and Gloria.
The singles in the back.
The young singles in the back.
No,
No.
so but like what? Like okay, should we just record this whole thing again?
Well, I do believe in God's timing.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah,
whether
yeah.
you get married early or later in life, like that's not our timing, right? It's God's timing. So not that you should like, you know, resist when it comes, like don't resist when it comes, but also like, you know, don't be so eager and like speed up the process.
Yeah, and I think kind of what I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier was like the way I look at it, and I hope the singles out there look at it, is that this is a special time, so take advantage of it. Like do everything you can with like this season in life and be as undivided as you can. But if you are called to marriage, like you can't just lay back and think it's gonna happen. Like that is God. If you're called to marriage, like God is calling you for the next season as well. So like be intentional as you are being undivided in this season.
Because it does get harder if you wait.
It really
it could
does.
get harder.
I think it gets harder no matter what.
I think it's hard no matter what.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it gets harder. You don't think so?
No, actually.
Well, I mean, well, like for me, okay. So for me, it's different because
I thought we were gonna talk about like
what do you want to talk
like
about?
the wholeness of like your like inner life and like your diligence to the Lord.
Ask the question.
Oh
Ask
yeah,
the
yeah.
question.
Let's talk
we're
about
Ask the
that.
we're
question.
going into this.
Yeah. All right,
rabbit
let's
hole
start
of-
here. Yeah.
let's talk
Ask
about
the
that.
question.
Yeah, let's move on.
Ask the right question.
I love my single
I
life.
love being single. Stay single forever, guys.
Yo, I love it.
This is so funny.
Yo, I love.
Are we
I
gonna
love
scratch
my,
this episode?
no,
She's
no.
gonna lose it again.
No, we're not gonna scratch it. I'm gonna keep everything in here.
Okay.
It's so 재밌어.
Dude, I love my lifestyle, to be honest.
Yeah, and so that's why it's difficult. It's difficult because you're happy with where you are.
Oh, wait.
Right?
Hold on, wait.
Wait.
It's a confusing
wait,
time.
that's not what I-
It's very confusing.
Partly. I
Yeah,
think
partly.
Part of that's
Yeah,
true.
because
Yeah.
because you have the ideal scenario for you would be finding someone that suits your lifestyle, but that's harder to do.
I mean, I would have to shed like large components of my single lifestyle.
No,
if I-
absolutely,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to.
Yeah.
Like in a realistic situation, of
Yeah.
course you have to. But that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it harder,
Mm.
because the older you get, the more set in your ways you get. Like what you guys
Mhm.
were saying, and so because of this contentment, you have to feel this conviction and push to like pursue marriage, because you guys can easily just be happy and content like this, and then maybe just always thinking of longing marriage.
I mean, to be clear though, if I can like get married, I will choose that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
not so content in my single life that I don't want to get married. Like,
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
okay,
I'm
okay.
aware.
just to be clear.
But you guys are just sharing how, like, the hardship of getting married later, in that you are more set in your ways, you know who you are more.
Well, I would say it's harder just because like it's hard to find people.
All right.
Yeah.
But being single is great. Okay, all right. Let's be for real. For a sec. Okay, so I think in the realm of like that whole topic, like a part of that is that like I know that when I do find that person and my future spouse, like I would be so much more prepared just by seeing friends around me that are married, that have kids, a lot of them already on their second. And I think just being in this season and having friends like that and being able to see what they're going through and the hardships of marriage, like that definitely prepares me a lot more. And I know what to expect. Not that I'm going to like knock it out and just like be great at it, but I at least know what to expect. Whereas a lot of my friends that kind of go into marriage, it just hits them and they don't know how to like deal with it type of thing. So I think for sure, like that's something I know I can take advantage of during the season. And even the thing about like being more set in your ways and like having certain standards of like finding a significant other, like I think that's also a blessing too, because like you know what you're looking for, so then it might be a little bit harder to like settle down, but then when you do settle down, you'll know that the marriage is going to be something much more beautiful than just finding anyone when you're younger, where it could be you can go through a lot of heartbreaks, or like maybe you end up being with someone that isn't right for you. So like there's a lot of
Absolutely.
like cons with that too.
I mean, I would actually say, Han, I'm so glad that you know more good marriages than bad ones. And not that I know more bad marriages, but I think maybe because I'm married, I'm not sure, or if it's just my personality type and I get so nosy into people's lives. But I would say that I would know more struggling marriages than I know of like good,
Yeah,
content, happy marriages.
I just said that for PR reasons, so.
Oh, yeah. And so for me, that just goes to show that especially for marriages, there's pros and cons, right? Unfortunately for us women, Joanna, the later that we get married, the harder it is for us to have children. Right. And then also the later that all of us get married, the older we will be as parents, right? Like, so there are the cons. But then the pros of getting married, and this is something that I feel like I really benefited from getting married at, I think it was 33 at the time. I was very, very close to some marriages. One of them being Grace and Charlie, our worship leader. And really, as a single person, being so in the nitty gritty of their lives and their relationship, that when I got married, a lot of things that would have been really big issues as an emotional person for me were not new. Like I would experience it in real time, but remember, oh, this is what Grace was talking about. Like, oh, this is what Michelle was talking about. Oh, this, like I can remember and then actually show Sinks up that much more grace genuinely, because I don't feel like I'm the only person struggling. He's treating me or saying this to me. Like this is a unique situation. And the feeling less alone in your issues in marriage is like one of the best gifts that you can experience, especially when you're going through hard times. And so I would say that a pro of getting married later is kind of what you were saying. Like you do know yourself a little more. You are a little more wise. You've been humbled much more in life as a single person than a younger married person that maybe experienced their fantasy being married at 22 and having kids at 24, because I feel like those people, and it's such a blessing to have children and like raise a family. So no knock on, getting married early. But what tends to happen from my observation is that these couples, they tend to, because so much time and effort is thrown into the relationship. We mentioned it. Paul said that there's anxieties for the spouse. And then throw in children, the character of the person tends to take longer. While for a single person, you do have that much more time to be reflective. And you do have much more, you're quicker at learning lessons. And so when you do enter marriage, as you were saying, you are more prepared. And you do approach your spouse with a little more humility than when you are 22. So I think that, everything really is perspective, although desire is extremely healthy.
Yeah.
But I would say that, like, when I look at my friends that got married in their mid 30s and later, their marriages, at least from what I can see, are thriving because they're so humble about life and just so grateful for what they have. And I'm talking about my friends that got married at like 37, 38, 39. So perspective changes a lot more. Desire, and then, you guys are going through like contentment right now. Translate that contentment when you find someone and get married. Contentment only grows because you've went through so much during this season of your life. Yeah.
I mean, I think, and I'm obviously, like, everything I say, like, comes with a grain of salt because I'm not married. So, like, I obviously don't know what it's like, but at least from what I've observed as like an outside party with like all my friends that are married, I just feel like there is a special thing about being able to figure out who you are outside of your spouse and kids and family. Because I do know a lot of people that are married that their identity is their family, which is a big part of their identity, but it's not all of it, right? So then a lot of times I see what ends up happening is they just get into the chaos and like the hustle of having a family, having kids, being married, and then they lose their own identity, and then all of a sudden they have like a reality check of like, oh my gosh, like, who am I actually apart from my family? And I'm sure when I'm there, like, I'm gonna have reality checks too, but the hope is that hopefully I'll at least be a little bit more sure of who I am in Christ and just me apart from like a family or relationship, that hopefully those reality checks will be a little bit less.
Yeah.
That's why people have midlife crisis.
I want to ask about, I guess, the tension between contentment and desire. So, like, what does it look like for you, whether you're actively living in it now or have a better sense of an idea of what that looks like or what you would like for that to look like? What does it mean to be content with where God has put you in now versus the desire to get married and the feeling that conviction and push to get married? Like, how do you kind of reconcile that in your life right now?
I mean, I feel like it's a daily, I don't want to say struggle necessarily, but I think so. Just to give like a personal answer of how I think about it or feel about it, or how this like plays out in my everyday life, is just that I try to just live a full life as a single person while trying to pursue avenues that will allow me to date and via dating get married. I think the desire is always there. I'm kind of like a closet romantic, or maybe not. Maybe it's not so much. Maybe I'm not a closet. Maybe I'm
No,
just a
it's not
romantic. Yeah, yeah.
closet.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or not
Um,
romantic.
we're not. Yeah,
You're not a closet
kidding.
romantic.
yeah,
You are just a romantic.
yeah. So yeah, I'm. When it comes to like dating and like love and stuff like that, like I tend to be a bit more romantic. So like the drive is always there. The desire is always there. To like meet a girl like while I'm walking down the street randomly, and then it becomes like our love story, right? Like that kind of thing. Okay, I'm not like that
Wow.
actually. No, I'm just playing it up for the podcast, but I'm not really like that. But if it happened, that'd be cool. But like
Which one is it, man?
Yeah, which one is it?
Hopeless romantic. That's what he
Oh,
is.
there you go.
oh, is that what it's called?
Hopeless
Yeah.
wannabe romantic.
Oh, that's what it is. But I think holding on to that desire, but living the best single life that I can while holding on to that desire. Like, I just want to enjoy the freedoms that come with being single. But also, like, the big thing that I'm struggling with that I kind of need to focus on a little bit more is I do just go back to, I think contentment is one thing, but it does take me back to the thing that my senior pastor said of like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough for God. I'm doing a lot of things for myself, you know? I'm doing a lot of things that I enjoy doing. I fill up my schedule with things that are very like self-serving and even self-centered. And even like the use of my resources is very self-centered and self-serving, whether it's like my time, money, whatever it may be. But I just hope that like in being content, that also includes living a very full life for the service of the kingdom, which, truth be told, that's not really there right now. So
Yeah, it's like contentment in the season, but not contentment with like your life, right?
what do you mean by that?
So like you're saying like it. Oh, I'm saying it's okay to be content in this season, but then we shouldn't be content in like how we're living this season. Because like you're saying you want to, you're living a full life, and that's, you can easily say that's like being content in this season because you're living a full life, but it's not kingdom oriented.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the big thing for me.
I think that's a good challenge that we could all of us can always feel.
Absolutely. Yeah. I never really dealt with that contention of contentment and desire in the realm of marriage, but contentment for me, I think over the last several years looks more, I guess kind of like what Han was saying, it looks more like obedience to where I'm placed, who I'm placed with, what I'm called to do in that season. But I think the key thing for me is kind of like I was saying before, is when doors open to go through them, and when doors close to kind of walk away. Unfortunately, the harder part for me is to go through the doors that are open. I don't do well with change. So I can be steady, like I can be obedient where I am, but then to kind of endeavor to new things, I think is definitely hard for me. But I think true contentment is being able to go through those doors or walk away from those doors and still find joy in God regardless. And to be able to live my life, like Han said, fully regardless. So that's kind of what it's been looking like for me in the past few years.
Oh, that's what it is. That I think that hit the thing. It's like content like on my own versus content with joy in the Lord. I think that's that's probably the distinction for me.
So then what do you think in an ideal world that balance of contentment and desire should look like or could look like?
To be completely honest,
Or maybe something, that we could pursue.
yeah.
That our single people can pursue that balance. What do you think that looks like?
This is just my personal thought,
Mm-hmm.
and this is easier said than done.
Yeah. Ideally.
Ideally, yeah. Like, don't stress about getting married.
Yeah.
That I like easier said than done, but don't stress about getting married. Don't like worry about. There's always that saying. I don't know if it like applies to girls necessarily, but my mom says this to me a lot as a guy. She's like, as a guy, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, a girl will come along and find you like attractive. Like if you're scattered in what you're doing and you seem like someone that doesn't know what they want and is just always like going from here to there, like she was like, girls don't like that. But as a guy, like if you have your purpose and you're living in your purpose, the person will come along and they'll just be attracted to you and come alongside you. And I think I do think I believe that. It's like, don't stress about getting married. Don't worry about too much. Live purposefully, and when it happens, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it could go for girls too. I feel like it could be for both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to remember that practicing contentment can also be a part of your, like, you pursuing a desire for marriage. Like, I don't think it's like one or the other. I think it can go hand in hand. Like, there is that stage of or time of self-discovery and discovering God and people and learning skills, like caring for people and things like that. Like, that can definitely go into pursuing someone in the future. Or currently, I don't think it necessarily is like one or the other. I definitely think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just like a healthy balance. Like it's like a day-to-day struggle.
Yeah.
And just like any other desire that we may have, like it's just, if it's a healthy desire, it's okay to a certain extent. But if it's like worldly desires, or if we're desiring marriage in a for like wrong reasons, or like from a perspective of like trying to get out of like singleness, then it's like we gotta treat it as any other sin or struggle that we go through.
No, definitely. Marriage can become such idolatry, and I'm sure and I definitely have known people that have just been like, I'm just waiting to get out of this. How many times I've heard when I was a leader at Home Builders, oh, I'm waiting to graduate into Home Builders ministry. Oh my gosh, I've heard that so many times. And I mean, I know it's a joke, but I know that there are singles out there that are like, they think about marriage every day, all the time. And so I feel like, it can go both extremes. Like, you can be too content to the point where you're so comfortable that you'll just never get married because of that. And then there's the other where you idolize your timeline and when I need to get married and when I need to have kids and when this needs to happen. And so I love that advice. Like, not stress. You can be content and desire marriage at the same time, and ultimately trusting in the Lord. That He has His timing for you. Yeah. So I want to talk about the church and how,
Like our church or the church?
Our church.
Sorry,
Our church
that was a
specifically.
bad joke. My bad.
Our church specifically, because as we all are aware, we are a blossoming church, as in we are a church that is filled with marriages. We just had our, I think, 5th birth announcement this month in February.
I get more birth emails than any other email from church.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So we are definitely like a church that like believes in and is clearly walking out being fruitful and multiply. So I wanted to ask, well, first of all, does that bring pressure to you guys at all? Does that like, as in, do you feel pressured by the church in any way?
I think it's hard to say that it doesn't. Like, it's a part of the culture of our church.
Mhm.
So even if it's subconscious, like there's definitely a push to get there. And I want to say it's kind of like, just all around. That's like the feeling of all the singles, and it's good. Like, it could be in a healthy way, right?
Mhm.
And that's kind of what we're talking about, like the difference between contentment and desire. But because our church is so like in that direction, and we have a lot of people in that stage of life, like I do get the feeling that there are a lot of people that see the singlehood as like a waiting period and the
Yeah.
marriage as like a finish line, right?
Especially if you're a member at a church.
Yeah. There's definitely a thing about, and like, because I would say like a lot of other churches, it's the opposite. Like, there's so many singles, and they're all just like, maybe in also the opposite end of the spectrum in an unhealthy. It could be in an unhealthy way. Like, they're just enjoying their singleness and just being single, and like, I don't know like how fruitful their singlehood is, but like, it's just a thing about a church.
Yeah.
That I noticed, and I think it is a real thing, and that's part of the reason why I'm like, I decided to serve in singles ministry, because I think me as a part of someone in this church and being in this season, like I've experienced that too, and I want to be able to like really make a drive for like, hey, let's take advantage of this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, yeah, it's just a hard reality to ignore, because it's like right there, I do feel for the ladies of our church. I think it is probably harder for them. I think singlehood in general is harder for women than it is for men, just the way biologically, and just like desire for family is different
And
as
the
well.
emotion, we tend to be more emotional.
Yeah. So
Pool is a little bit harder as they get older. The pool of people they can date.
yeah. I mean, I feel like it's harder for women to date as they get older than it is for guys, just with like age and stuff too. Which is not like to their fault by any means. It's just the reality. It just becomes hard. So I think I do feel for like the women of our church that are in a single, are single, and especially for the ones that are maybe a little bit more on the older end. I think it just becomes hard when probably for them at that point, their friends are like onto their second, third kids as well.
Yeah.
And I think they feel the contrast more than guys do. So I do feel for them.
Yeah. How do you think our church could, I mean, not that they're doing a bad job. I think our church is actually well-rounded and we're so good with each other, married and singles. But can you think of a way that our church could better come alongside our singles, like the married people, the families? And
Yeah, I think one thing with 735 that's been different from like the previous iterations of like the ministry is that we've been more open to like married couples too, to just have like joint things where it's like, it's not a only come if you're single in this life stage type of thing, but like, hey, if you're like newly married, you're in this age group, or like you just have friends that are also single, just come to our thing. Because, and I think that I've seen a lot of fruit in that like structure and system of 735, because I think for one, like, because our church isn't like a huge church, and the numbers of singles isn't that much compared to like married and kids or whatever. I think that just gives a lot more opportunity for people to get plugged in, because not everyone's necessarily going to click with every single person that's single, and just because you're married doesn't mean that you can't be friends or have community with non-married people, right? So like in that aspect, like everyone just kind of like is able to get along better. Newcomers are able to find more people that they can get along with, like click with, and I think that just opens doors for a lot more growth in singles ministry. Yeah, so I really like that new structure of 735.
Yeah, and similar to what I was saying before, when I was single, and then I was able to take a lot of the wisdom learned through the experiences of my married friends, I'm sure that could help too, in bringing encouragement and challenge and preparedness to the next season of their lives, hopefully being married.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's so much to talk about, but we're over an hour.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I honestly can't believe it.
Because I want to talk about dating in Nova and
we gotta
and
talk about
apps.
that. Or, I mean, we don't have to. One thing that I will say, just as a general kind of like, not advice, but as a way to show compassion and grace to single friends, if you're someone that's married or dating, I think you should be very careful about saying to a single friend of yours, something along the lines of like, don't be so picky. Yeah, I think.
I apologize, everybody.
Oh, I mean, like, you know,
You say that?
we've all, I mean, we've all been there,
feel
heard
bad.
it, but I think just like to caution like how quick you are to throw that out there to someone that's single, because I think that really like diminishes, number one, like, are you married because you weren't picky, right? It's not like you're not married because you just married anyone off the street, right? So let's not
Yeah.
let's not forget that you also married someone you wanted to get married to, right? But it just it's a very cheap way to attack the struggles of singlehood in a single person. And because if it was their choice, they wouldn't be single either, right?
Yeah.
And unless they are actually being like unreasonably picky, then sure, like have a real talk about that, but don't like in jest or in like lightheartedness be like, man, like you're just so picky, or don't be so picky. I would just like caution people to maybe take a step back before saying that so easily. That's just a thought I had of how we can come alongside our single friends,
Yeah.
and journey with them better.
Yeah. I am really glad that we talked about our church's approach into this ministry. Sorry, it's not mine anymore. Into your ministry, because as a church body, and as you mentioned, it can be really hard for singles, especially for the ones that are really hoping for marriage. So I hope that our church members, especially listening to this, can take to heart and be a little more thoughtful in this ministry. And I hope that when announcements come out for different events, if you're available, even with your kids, that you would come out. And also Home Builders is actually doing the same thing, by the way. Home Builders, a lot of their events are open to everyone, no matter what stage you're in. So I do also appreciate the trajectory that our ministries are going into. But we are speaking for a really long time. So I have decided we're going to split this episode in two. And so the next episode, we're going to talk about dating in Nova and dating in general. So
I'll try to get some experience before the episode.
in 5 minutes, stay tuned.
Oh, we're doing it right now.
Yeah. As we come to the end of this episode of Living Stones, I hope you've been encouraged and reminded that this season, whatever it looks like for you, is full of God's purpose. God is present in it, working through it, and doing something real in you in the middle of it. If today's conversation meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. We are members of God's household, united by our shared faith and our desire to pursue Him together. So until next time, may God's grace and peace be with you all. Thank you for being a part of Living Stones.